We had a great weekend at home, our last home weekend in L&N Arena, and we played great against Duke and North Carolina. Now we head out to the Virginias, play Virginia and Virginia Tech. So two more weeks of conference, then we head into the NCAA tournament. But I think our team's in a great spot. I think this weekend we showed that we're still improving, which was pretty cool to see, and to send the seniors out on such a high note, and to close the season at L&N playing great. Some of our best volleyball of the year was really fun, and it was a great day.
What did you see, or what are you still seeing improvement in, and is there still more?
I think there's more for sure, and it's crazy to say that this late in the season, but Sophia Maldonado Diaz had one of her best games of the year on Sunday, and I just think she continues to get more comfortable. And then, the setter she goes in with is Naelis, who's our freshman, who also is continuing to improve, which is what a freshman should be doing throughout the whole year. So I think those two are making a little bit of a difference. And then Camden Strand has carved herself a role with serving and playing some defense, and she has the ability to go on a big run, and you need servers that can do that if you want to go far in the postseason.
Looking ahead at the schedule, obviously with 2 games each of the last 2 weeks, it would be difficult, but you have to stay focused, because I think everybody looks at that last week and says, oh wow, look at those 2 matches, and then this week Virginia.
Yeah.
How do you kind of keep the blinders on and keep them focused?
I think the beauty of this team is that they know that we have more room still, so we're continuing to evolve and do things we haven't done yet, and this is a great opportunity to do that on the road. And Virginia is having maybe their best year in the past 10 years, and we always struggle to play well at Virginia Tech. So there'll be 2 new challenges that we can talk about, and our team will embrace.
Knowing that the NCAA tournament, the finals are here this year, is it a challenge at all to keep your team focused on the here and now instead of looking ahead at what's coming up next month? I
really felt like that early in the season. It was tough because there's a lot of pressure, and I think we dropped a couple games, and it was a wake-up call that we got to focus on, each game, each week. No game is bigger than the other right now, and so that kind of helped us stay focused. And I think at the end of the year here, we know what we have to do. We have to win games. So we have to win our games if we want to guarantee a top 4 seed to host all the way through. And obviously when you get in the tournament, you got to win to advance. So we don't want to take anything for granted right now.
Is it hard for you as a coach and as obviously it's going to be here not to put the scenarios and look at things and go, oh man, if we do this, this, and this, is it hard not to do that?
Yeah, and we do that, in the office. We kick around, oh, what if we draw this team, or, what if we have to travel, or God forbid, what if we have to sit here and watch another team in the Final Four on our home court? So we always talk about that, and I'm sure our players do too, but a lot of time it's just speculation. And when you get in the gym, there's so much to work on, and so many different things we can do. It's easy to get focused once we get in the practice court.
When you look around, you've played a lot of good teams this year, and there are a lot of good teams in the ACC. How many teams are there in your mind that are good enough to make a Final Four, and how many teams that are good enough to win a national title?
It's a great question. I think there's a lot of teams good enough to make a Final Four. This is the most parity we've probably ever seen in the sport of volleyball, and a lot of that has to do with the COVID seniors, and there's just a lot of experience and a lot of really great players. When you think about who the National Player of the Year could be, it's like crazy. It could be so many different players. So there's players that can take over matches all across the country. So, I think there's, 10 teams probably 10 or more that can make a Final Four. And then once you get there, anything can happen. So there could be a lot of teams. And a lot of that's based on these amazing seniors and athletes that can take over a match. And those players are scary when you face them in the tournament, no matter what their record has been or what they've done up to that point.
In basketball, coaches talk a lot about how advancing is matchup dependent. Sometimes you match up with better teams. So is that true also in volleyball?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. I think there's volleyball's a little bit different, but I would agree matchups are very important, and especially when you get into that Sweet 16 Elite 8 games, you want a favorable matchup.
With 2 weeks left, we talked about this maybe 2 months ago, that with 2 weeks left, is it going to be easier for the NCAA selection process, and is it easier for coaches to look at teams and, like you just said, 10 teams, because everybody played each other and looking back?
Yeah, a lot of teams have played each other, and I think there's a lot across the country looking at the conferences and what's coming up, because I think everybody's paying attention to that. A lot could change in these next 2 weeks, which is a little bit rare. Usually it feels like, okay, these top seeds are cemented, but it really seems like there could be some shuffling around as we near the end of the conference seasons. But I think this year there's going to be a lot of head-to-head, which should be a little bit easier for the committee, but I would hate having their job, because there's a lot of great teams and tight teams that you could probably seed, within 3 spots, and they would have great reason.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Big.
Thank you.
Hope to see you Wednesday before Thanksgiving against Pitt, last home game.